Hi, I'm Craft Patty. In my last video, I showed you how to make these rope bowls. This is a really good foundation to start with before you tackle the rope bowls with fabric. This video will give you all the basics and lots of tips and tricks, so I do suggest you start and watch this one first if you haven't already done so. In this video, I will show you how to start it, how to finish it, how to prepare your fabric strips, and how to make this cute little end swirl to finish it off. If you don't want any raw edges, like this particular bowl, then this is the method you want to use, because we're going to be folding over all our pieces of fabric so there's no raw edges. We're also going to sew all our strips together so there's no raw edges. So this will make a really nice, firm, solid bowl. So keep watching and let's get started. I'm going to be using the cotton sash cord, and this particular one is 1/4 inch and it comes in a 100-foot roll or 30.4 meters. It does say it has a synthetic core, but don't worry about that. This particular one, and you can tell if you push into it that it doesn't have a solid plastic inside of it. All it has is little fibers inside like that, and you can sew through that just fine. I found this cording at my hardware store locally. You can also try Walmart, you can try the dollar store, or if you can't find it anywhere, then just check out my link below the video on that little tiny down arrow or the show more, and I'll leave some links where you can find some similar type of cord that will work great for this project. Another supply that will come in very handy is some little clips. I got these from the dollar store and they worked out really well. They have an actual nice wide base on them, and these will be used for when we're wrapping our fabric around our cord. When we get to a certain part, we can adhere it with the clip and it will stay in place for you. You'll be needing a cutting board, an Omnigrid ruler, and your rotary cutter, a pair of scissors to either cut your fabric or trim off your threads. And you'll want to pick up the thread in the color of your choice to match your material. You'll need a lot of thread, and get lots of bobbins and pre-wind some bobbins in the color to match your thread on the top. And now I'm going to be cutting my 1 1/4 inch strips of fabric. We're going to be sewing all these strips together now. So I'm going to place one horizontally, and my next strip with right sides together I'm placing vertically on top of it, matching up our ends. And now I'm going to sew corner to corner on the machine. Once you have finished sewing your corner to corner, then just come in and clip off the excess so you don't have a lot of bulk in your seams when you're wrapping it around your rope. Now the next step, if you want to do this, you don't have to because you can finger press as you go along. But if you really want to make this job easy for you, you can now go and iron this, opening up your seams, and now we're going to fold over 1/2 inch, and we're going to iron that Or if you don't want to do that, then you can certainly do it while you're working on the machine and fold it over as we go. And I'm just going to go outside because it's a sunny, beautiful day. So I'm just going to sit in the sun and I'm going to wrap this around my cardboard so it's nice and tidy and ready to be used when I want to wrap my rope. You can choose to take your fabric and wrap your rope while sitting on the couch or outside or whatever, and while watching a movie. And then all of your rope would be ready to go, and then you go to the sewing machine and you make your basket. Or you wrap and sew as you go. I'm just going to tuck in underneath my folded over edge and just bring this around and give it a nice tight squeeze just to start it off. And then you're going to just start to bring it down by pulling it and twisting it down. So you're leaving about 1/2 inch between your wraps, like so. Once you've got about 12 inches wrapped up, then just like the other bowls we did, if you did watch my first videos, is we're just going to wind this in a circle and we're going to hold on to it with 4 pins. And just like before, I'm going to come through with a straight stitch. So hopefully you've got a pressure foot that will lift up a little bit further so you can get it in there. We're going to come through with a straight stitch and just sew across like before. Now that you've secured your center portion here, we can take out our pins. And now we're going to go back in and we're going to sew between the second and third with our zigzag. And if you've watched the first video, then you'll know that my width is at 6 and my length is at 4 on my machine. You're also keeping your cord coming off to the right and your circle forming to the left. And we'll start a zigzag with the back stitch. And like I said in the other videos, I'm trying to keep the middle of my pressure foot in the middle of my 2 pieces of rope. The first part, you might want to go a little slower. And then once you've got your first few rows secured with your zigzag, then you can just lift your pressure foot with your needle down and just let that coil back around, and then we can continue on. I'm just going to cut our threads here, get those out of the way, and now we can continue our circle. Now this is where I've decided to wrap and sew at the same time. We'll continue our wrap right here. And as you know, obviously you want your folded edge to the top, making sure that my needle is down and continue your wrap. So continue to wrap and sew until you've got your base the size that you want. And now I'm holding my bowl right up against my sewing machine as far as it will go to get my basket to come up for the edge now. And if you're doing the wrap and sew as you go method, which is what I call it, when you're ready to wrap some more, I just move my clip up and I've got this wrapped around the back of my neck, and then I can just continue to wrap. But every time you do go around, you do have to move your wrapped ball or wrapped skein, whatever you want to call it, around with you. So every time you wrap, you got to bring this around. But if you want it so all your edges of your fabric are enclosed, you will not get any raveling, and especially that we have also joined each of the pieces together. So there's no need for gluing. All you have to do is just keep wrapping and going and sewing. And now I can continue sewing. So I'm at the end of my strips. This is the last one that I've wrapped. So it's time to cut off our cord. I'll just cut down about 2 inches here. Just going to come in and cut into half of this rope just to angle it a little better, so when you go to do the final part and sew it onto your basket, it's a little less bulky. So now let's finish our wrapping to the end here. And now I'm going to fold in both edges like so. Bring this edge up into the middle and do our final wrap to the end. Like so. And we'll be tucking this end in when we go to do our last little circle. So we'll just hold on to that for now, and let's decide how we want to finish off our beautiful basket. So this is what I have left to work with to finish off my final basket. So what I'm going to do is, before I get too close to up here, I'm going to take my end and I'm going to wrap it in a circle like we did at the very beginning of our basket. So now that it's nicely wrapped together, we're going to grab this. I'm going to form a circle, and just like we did in the beginning, I'm going to sew right across this way and this way. So again, I'll put in 4 pins and we'll sew through and sew through. Now, just like the beginning, I'm going to use my zigzag and come around and zigzag these together. And you decide how big you want the circle to be for the decoration on the outside of your basket. Now this is where you can get really creative and decide what you want to do. You can bring it up, make a handle, like so, and then come back in and let this curl around any way you want to, like so. You can bring it all the way along, just let it drop down, and then your circle will be like so. Or on your last one, you can bring it up, so you've got your handle here, and then you're going to drop it down. So you've got a handle and a circle to finish it off. So just for this demonstration, I'm going to just continue to sew it along and let it drop down and just finish it here. But feel free to be creative and show me what you come up with. So I put my basket back in the sewing machine. I'm going to zigzag till I get to my end circle. So there's the little circle, and what I'll be doing is I'll just be coming through some thread and attaching this. But for my last step, I'm going to come around, I'm going to zigzag on my last row just to make sure this is nice and secure for my last row. So I'm just pushing it up as far as I can get to the little circle that we've made. And this time I'm going to go right to the edge of my last row to here. I'm not trying to zigzag the two together. I just want to make sure that this last row is good and secure. And now to finish it off, I've just threaded my needle with some black thread. I'm going to come in through the back side and just come in between the two rows here, which is between these two. I'm going to come back through this row here. And now I'm going to come into my basket and come in through the middle of two rows, bring it through, so that brings our little circle into the basket, and then come back through two rows again, and then up through your circle again, and back in again. And then try to get it in between two rows, because it'll be easier to get the needle in between two rows than right through the middle of the rope. And then come in the middle here, and I'm going to just come in through the middle here to make a knot. Bring it through my circle of my thread. Do that one more time to tie it off. Now bring your string through a little bit here, just bring it along, pop it back up about 1 inch away. And cut off your string. And you are done. So final measurements. This basket worked out to be about 5.5 inches in depth, which is about 14 centimeters. It measures 10 inches across, so about 26 centimeters. And so there we have a very sturdy, beautiful colored basket with an easy finish off with the swirl at the end. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video on how to make this beautiful rope bowl with no raw edges. I've enjoyed making these rope bowls so much. I'm going to be making more tutorials. So probably the next one will be on how to make the one with the raw edges. It goes a lot faster and it's a lot easier than this one. So if you enjoyed my video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos, and until next time, bye bye.